Ladies and gentlemen, we are back live again. We're here to do our weekly Manchester United show, and I'm so excited to bring it to you guys from the brand new studio. Obviously, oh shit! No!
Schoolboy era.
Again, bro. I was just so funny enough. I turned on the sound because people. I got a couple of messages talking about the new microphone and the new audio, so I wanted to hear what people were talking about. So, like, funny enough, that's what I get. This is what I get for doing it on the computer, you know. But guys, we're gonna be taking your questions all so long. Obviously, I'm here live with the one and only Mr. Exclusive. Mr. Exclusive, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well, doing extremely well, especially after yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, you've got your vlog that you've got together, and I'm excited to watch it. So, I mean, man, by the way, just so you guys know, Mr. Exclusive's Twitter and YouTube information is in the description below. Be sure to follow him on Twitter. Be sure to subscribe to his channel. He's an awesome guy, and I love having him on the show. So, guys, we got one question early from Reza Sunday that he had a question for us. And the question is, if we do well under OGS till the end of the season, would you keep him or hire Poch? I'd still take Poch, but the way OGS is conducting himself in interviews, his tactics on the field, the passion is going to make it hard for me to just say thanks but goodbye. So, Mr. Exclusive, that question goes to you first, my friend.
Brilliant question.
Yeah, it really is.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Like, what did we always want? We always wanted someone who could, follow in Sir Alex's footsteps. It's taken 3 managers to do so and fail. Like, there's no breed of success, but he's playing the right tune. He's fiddling the right strings to get a rise out of the fans. And honestly, I'm not going to be disrespectful to Ollie, but after what Jose had put us through, I don't really feel that it would have been a hard thing for him to just build a bit of confidence in Manchester United and to say, you remember who you are. But obviously people like to bring it down. But if Ollie was to go and get us minimum Europa League, so get us into 5th, we'd love him to get us into the Champions League spots, get us into 4th, which with being so close now, it's not that far away. Bournemouth are on a bad run. We got them next. And Pochettino is a very good manager. I'm not going to deny that. But what does Pochettino know about the Manchester United way? He's observed from the outside, but to be actually moulded in the DNA of the club, like on the fan cam of last night, there's an old man next to an old woman, and he said not many substitutes come on against any team, let alone Nottingham Forest in the 90s, and score 4 goals as a substitute. Not even Messi and Ronaldo has done that, and they're obviously major superstars. All he knows, man. All he knows. We know that Ollie knows that we know that Ollie knows that knows that Ollie knows. You know what I mean?
So, I mean, basically, I feel like what you're saying is that if Ollie manages to basically get us into that top 4, close to top 4, if he maybe takes us on maybe a little bit of a run in the Champions League, maybe we get past PSG or at least do well against PSG, and then also add in the fact that we've still got the FA Cup to go, where we know that he's going to be bringing in youth and playing youth. So you're saying that if he does well inside of these competitions, you're saying, you know what, maybe let him do his thing.
If it's not, bro, why fix it?
Yeah, honestly.
End of the day, you can give him a 1-2 year contract. You don't have to go and splurge on a 3-4 year contract on him. And in the day, he's doing this as a temporary thing. He's been, Mould's already quoted about 7-point-something million if we want to take him permanently. But obviously, we're not just going to take him off 2 games against the lowest opposition with the most goals conceded. We're Manchester United. We used to as Ollie said, outwork the competition. No competition outworks Manchester United. You know, he was singing the right hymns from the sheet, and it's what we wanted to hear as Man United fans. You can't say to anybody that as soon as you heard what Ollie was saying that you were in awe after everything Jose was saying.
I mean, listen, that's ultimately fair, man. I think that, you know, you look at what Ollie is going to be doing during his time at Manchester United, and you look at the fact that he's got a big task in front of him, and so far he's done nothing but succeed. I mean, let's be real about it. Huddersfield aren't the hardest competition, but they're definitely well drilled and well trained. We went out there and we actually made them look pretty bad.
Like we in moments of the game, I think at the start of the game we were very lethargic. In the first like 5-10 minutes, like they were at our heels, and I think of Manchester United of old under Jose, they would have sat back, took the nip to the heels until someone made a mistake, until they were conceded. Like in 2 games under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we haven't conceded first.
Yeah,
you know we've scored first in both his games, and you know what? We've noticed that the back line stands near enough at the halfway line. Even so, you'll see Jones or Lindelof going forward and actually tackling in their midfield. So, like you've already got ball winning centre backs taking that ball off a midfielder, and you've already snuffed out something that's not anywhere near David De Gea. So it's obviously that Ollie's a good influence, 1,000,000%.
Yeah, oh, definitely. So, listen, guys, this is what my opinion is. Ultimately, I think that if Ollie can take us and bring us back to top 4 or close to top 4, and then you also add in the fact that we do have a difficult matchup against PSG. If he at least can make us look decent against PSG, because at the end of the day, you could put Barcelona, Real Madrid, Juventus, you could put any of the top clubs against PSG. And honestly, I would say that they would probably struggle against them as well. They have some of the best quality attacking talent in all of world football. And so that right there is going to make it so it's going to be hard to go against them. But if he can at least make them competitive against them, and then you also add in the fact that we have an FA Cup matchup coming up. And that FA Cup matchup against Reading, we're going to be playing the youth. If we can manage to have a deep run inside of the FA Cup, Ollie gets us close to top 4, if not top 4, because I honestly believe that top 4 is back on. I 100% believe top 4 is back on. And it's possible if we're going to be playing like this.
I think if he gets an FA Cup, yeah, does an Alex Ferguson saved his job by getting an FA Cup and then taking Man United 3 years later onto a Premier League. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to get 3 years, but if he gets an FA Cup, you know, with youth encouraged, is something that we as Man United see in our blood. We should give that 1,000,000 chances rather than, you know, biting it on the nose and just like going, no, we're not going to do that. Despite our faces, it's pointless.
No, and you're exactly right. Like, it'd be irresponsible for us to go out there and get rid of Ollie if he manages to get us back in the top 4, does a decent job against PSG, and then also, especially if we win the FA Cup on top of getting to top 4, why are you going to get rid of a guy that did that? That's just my opinion. Now, I get that Pochettino does have the experience inside of the Premier League. I get that. But at the same time, Ollie gets the club. Ollie gets what it means to be Manchester United. And like Mr. Exclusive said, it's very rare that you get a guy that could come off the bench and score 4. It doesn't happen very often. And so if he can do that for Manchester United and get that kind of mentality back into the players' minds of, hey, listen, you know, I want 2. If you get 1, I want 2. If you get 2, I want 3. If you get 3, I want 4. Just that mentality of like, we are going to go at people from minute 1 to minute 90. I wouldn't get rid of Ollie no matter what. If we can get top 4 and at least make a good FA Cup run, I wouldn't get rid of him personally. So that's just me. Reza, thank you very much for the question and great discussion point, because right now it is going to be a really interesting to see how the rest of this season goes under Ollie. It really is. So he's at Reza Sunday. And if you guys are in the chat, it's exactly how his name is spelled inside of chat. That's how you do it on Twitter. But we do already have our next question, which, guys, just in case you didn't know what this show is going to be, we are taking your questions live all show. So whatever you guys have for questions, get them into chat and we will answer them for you. So our next question, Mr. Exclusive, is would you take Memphis Depay back?
Yes.
Yes. Now, let me ask you why.
Because I think he was unfairly treated under Jose Mourinho, young talent strangler. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Doing a little bit of digging into Jose Mourinho, he actually has a lot of youth starters. Like, he's probably given more youth starters actually a chance to go into first teams than most managers. But then once he picks them, he drops them. And like it was the same disrespect that LVG showed to Chicharito, and thought we don't need Chicharito, even though he's an absolute poacher, like Van Nistelrooy or Van Persie, But everyone can make a mistake, and the fact that we've got a buyback clause on it, or first having an option, whatever, was because Ed Woodward knows his business. He knew that Depay, however you want to say it, has a future. It was just not under Jose. So if you didn't think that, you wouldn't put that buyback clause in any contract, because you just think, well, he sold his money back in the bank. But he obviously knew that the talent was there. Why do you think they probably was so dragging the heels in trying to get rid of Martial? Because they know that the talent's there. Yeah.
And listen, I mean, for me, I've said this multiple times. I like Memphis Depay, especially as a person. He seems like a decent guy. He always he tries to make sure that he puts glory to God, and he basically tries to take the focus off of him. And for me, I kind of respect a guy like that. But for me, I think that Memphis Depay is better suited as somebody that is a big fish in a small pond. And I think that ultimately, if we were to bring Memphis Depay back, I don't know where he would fit into the team at the current moment, considering the fact that we have Anthony Martial looking like we might be able to get him back to being the
stick him on the right.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, Memphis might be suited at different places on the team, but he does tend to play on the left wing more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where, for me, if we've already got Alexis Sanchez here, I mean, and it all depends ultimately what the next manager is going to do, because I honestly don't think that Ollie, during his time, at least if he's going to only be the interim guy, is really going to get any signings. So I think it will depend on what the next manager sees and what they want to do. And ultimately, for me, Memphis Depay is somebody that I don't have the faith in to come back and do everything that he would need to do to become a good player for Manchester United. Because it's just realistic that you really either thrive under the big lights and the big stage like that, or you just fall. And for me, Memphis did, because he did also fall during his time under LVG. He really didn't succeed. So to me, I get that they're both pragmatic managers. They both play a very laid back style. And ultimately, if the next manager did decide to bring him back, I'd be okay with that. If the next manager, especially if it's an attacking manager, if they decided to bring him back, I'm totally okay with that, because at the end of the day, I'm going to put the faith in whoever the next guy is. I will. It doesn't matter if it's going to be Ollie, if it's going to be Pochettino. Don't get me wrong, there's a couple of managers out there that I'm like, please, for the love of God, don't bring him in. Allegri is one of them, and then Conte is the other one, and then Diego Simeone is the other one.
Simeone, yeah, I'm about to say him as well.
But all defensive managers, I do not want a defensive manager brought in to manage Manchester United next. So, but whatever the next manager is, I will put my faith into them and what they will be doing. So ultimately, for me, I would say do not buy back Memphis Depay and put money into players that have not been at Manchester United already. That's just my personal opinion. Doesn't mean that I'm right. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong. So what do you guys think? Let me ask you guys. Would you bring Memphis Depay back? Would you bring him back to Manchester United despite the fact that he's already been here and kind of struggled the last time he was here? I'd be interested in hearing what you guys have to say. So,
could you think as well that, you know, LVG getting on with it in his age, and Jose Mourinho as well, like they were just getting grumpier, and someone like Memphis Depay was just hard work for them, and they just couldn't be bothered. Like they're just as much like Maradonas as the players. Like just because look at how much Jose spat his dummy out, you know, there's no different. It's just ego, and it just bouncing the ego. So maybe it was just that simple fact that LVG couldn't control him because he was immature, and obviously because he thought he came to Old Trafford, his name was in lights, and obviously he got complacent on the pitch, just thinking he was rolling in the dough at Man United, and then obviously he got shifted on. Maybe obviously being in the French league, obviously it is a pub league, but he could have matured a bit. Maybe he comes back under Ollie, who's Manchester United orientated, said, listen, I'll put my arm around you, but don't think I'm not going to give you the boot up the arse. I've seen it. Alex does.
I mean, ultimately, you do have some good points, Mr. Exclusive, and I think that at the end of the day, if he is brought back and he's brought back under a manager that's going to, you know, let him kind of do what he does, because I get that he's succeeding for Leon, but at the same time, Leon is at Manchester United, and that's where my big question comes in. Is like,
plus it's about what we pay for him back as well. If we're getting him on a good deal where we can have some resale value on him, if he doesn't work out and we can still play him and he does an okay job for us, then that might not be a problem. But then again, would you want to be that player that comes back to United twice and fails twice?
Yeah, I mean, and that's exactly it. It's like I just think that it would be irresponsible both for him to come back and potentially fail, and then also irresponsible of the club to bring him back and allow him that opportunity. Because if he did fail again, I mean, talk about how horrible that would look on the guy. Like, it would look horrible on him. Like,
but this is a problem with some players these days. Like the Messis, Ronaldos, all the top players have a fear of failure. They have that complex of fear of failure that they have to get it. That's why they're on the pitch. Like, I think Tevez had the best story about Ronaldo, where he said, I came to the training complex and Ronaldo was there like an hour before training. So I came in the next day, an hour earlier, to do some training before Cristiano. He got to the training. Cristiano was there an hour earlier. He was an hour early. So he got there at 7, he was there. So he said, right, come back the next day and come at 6 o'clock in the morning. Cristiano Ronaldo was there training, you know, on his own, kicking the ball, getting it in the back of the net, coming, getting it, you know, and that's dedication. Do you see players being that dedicated to the cause of it? I don't.
You know, honestly, I think that if a player wants to be great, that's what they'll do.
Yes.
Because ultimately, at the end of the day, the reason why Cristiano Ronaldo has become the player he is because of the hard work that he put in. It's not just talent alone. Cristiano Ronaldo obviously has world-class talent, but he also goes out and works harder than anybody else. And I think that if you want to be that next level of world-class, you do. It's that mentality. It's this in here of I need to be the first one in and the last one out every single day. And I want to make sure that I'm working on the things that I'm going to be doing. So that is a good point. And I would actually like to know if there is anybody that's currently at the club that is doing that. I would. But let's
Probably
go.
Are now. Probably are now that Ollie's in.
I mean, maybe. But we actually, I do like this question from Ryan Beals, because I know Dan was kind of joking around. He said, "Is Phil Jones our new first choice center back now?" And
striker.
Still a striker, buddy. Still a striker.
Striker, man.
But What Ryan Beals asked, would you rather Memphis Depay or William Zaha back?
Oh, that's the pick of both failures. I could even go back and say Dion Dublin. I could choose Dion Dublin, or Danny Welbeck. These players that got sold on. Jeez, that's Zaha, because we didn't actually get to see him much.
That's fair. That's fair. I ultimately think that Zaha never really got a true chance at Manchester United, unlike Memphis Depay. But at the same time, me personally, I wouldn't take either of them back. That's
No.
just me. I think that Zaha is somebody that he's suited to being kind of at a bottom tier club and can kind of be a star at a bottom tier club. That's just me personally. You can see that he's obviously got talent, but I just question whether that talent would translate to a top 6 team. I would actually like to see him go to another top 6 team, like maybe go to Tottenham.
If once we took him on and Alex would have stayed a year under Sir Alex's guidance, I think Zaha would have been the next Cristiano Ronaldo for a fact. But that's probably the selling point, that he thought obviously he was coming to Old Trafford under Sir Alex Ferguson, the best manager there ever has been. And then unfortunately, Sir Alex Ferguson planned to retire without people knowing, and that was the situation that he was left in. And you go from the world class Sir Alex Ferguson to the absolute idiot David Moyes. It's a bit of a different idea of coming in.
Yeah, and it is a lot different, and ultimately, I don't think that we'll see either one of them back. That's just me personally. No. I don't see it happening. And now I do like that Mark Curtis did bring up a good point, that we can buy Depay back for 32 million and then sell him on for at least 60.
So that's what I said. I said if you get it for the good deal, like, we get ripped off that many times on deals that we lose what we think we lose. But the way that, as I said, the club does it is they do it as an average by a year and on the wages, so they can still 10 profit in that year if that money's over what they spent in a year. So vis-a-vis, if we actually start working like that, then yeah, I can't complain, because you're earning money off him, TV, shirts, all that. Can't complain.
Yeah, that is very fair. But let's go ahead and let's go on to another question. So our favorite Liverpool fan, Douglas James Horn, asked us a question. He said, do you think United will go back for Alderweireld in January or in the summer? Rumors are he has a $25 million buyout clause in the contract. So
leave him out.
I'll go to you first. Do you think that we should be buying Toby Alderweireld?
No, not even if Tottenham gave him us for free and at 20 million, I wouldn't take him. Like, we want to shore our defence up where Solskjaer's leaving our defence. Like, he's leaving our defence at the halfway line. Could you imagine Alderweireld trying to run back, trying to chase Zaha? He's not getting him. So he's a useless item. He's not even marketable.
Well, I mean, he does have a bit of a marketability standpoint, just in my opinion, in terms of his look and the fact that he does still have the what's the word for it? Like the reputation. I think that's gonna be the best word for it. The reputation of being one of the best center backs in the Premier League. Now, ultimately, though, he has not been playing much for Tottenham, at least not nearly as much as he has in the past. And
if Poch is going to be our manager and he's not thinking that he's good enough for his team there, why would he be good enough for our team here now?
And listen, you are very right on that. For me personally, I am done with the days of buying 29-year-olds, like, unless it's literally like basically an RVP type situation where we are literally that one player away from being a top class team, and buying that player, like that ready-made, literally peak prime year of their career, then I'm okay with it. But I personally am done with the days of buying 29-year-olds. That's the reason why when I see these rumors of us buying Costa from Juventus, I'm like, why? Why are we going to – we all were slating Mourinho for wanting to buy players like that are 29 – they're 28, 29 years old in the latter years of their career. And why would we want to go and get somebody that is going to be in the latter years of their career when we can go buy younger, or we could promote our youth and see how they're going to do? That's just me personally. I don't want to be buying older players just nonstop, because I think that to me is just a sign of like, okay, well, we don't want to have to deal with the development of somebody. And that's not what Manchester United's about. Manchester United is about developing our players and buying players that already do have world-class talent, but maybe they just need that little bit of fine-tuning because they're still young. Essentially that's what Anthony Martial was. Man, Anthony Martial, you could see, had world-class talent, but he just needed that little bit of fine-tuning. And now that he's got Ole Gunnar Solskjaer here, I honestly believe a lot of that talent is going to be coming out. That's just me personally. So I personally do not want Alderweireld either. I think maybe going and get somebody like Mathis de Ligt, or, another top-class center back that's in the early years of his career, I think is the better choice. Or even bring back Axel Tuanzebe and let him actually start, because I think that kid is a world-class talent as well. That's me personally.
We're not short of centre-backs. Like, I was having this conversation in my match reaction. One of my friends turned around, and I even said, oh, well, we could get Koulibaly. And one of my friends said, don't get into this myth because Jose Mourinho told us we needed a centre-back. And then he listed the fact that we had like 7 centre-backs, and then we could still go into the under-23s and then under-18s, 4 centre-backs. So that kind of thinks to myself, like, yeah, we kind of don't need centre-backs maybe with Bialy being the prospect he was, and Lindelof obviously showing good, mentality on the pitch. Maybe we don't need that centre-back. Maybe we just need to shore up our midfield, right wing or something. I don't know. We're not professionals, but...
I mean, obviously, we're just a couple of fans just talking about everything. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we believe in here at this channel, is we believe in fan opinion and talking about our opinions. So let's go ahead. Let's go on to another question. So I actually really like this one from Dan Jones. So he asked, is it now make or break for Alexis Sanchez? Surely he's got until the rest of the season to prove himself. So Mr. Exclusive, you first. Do you think that this is Alexis Sanchez's last shot to succeed at Manchester United in this last bit of the season?
Depending on how long his contract is. If he's got a contract till the next season after, I don't think it matters. Because if Ollie doesn't make it, there's a new manager coming in. So then all he has to do is shine under the new manager, and that might not matter. So, but it's whether they want to get rid of £400,000 a week off the books. That's why 1.6 million a month.
Yeah, ultimately, I do agree that, I think that this is where my belief is. I think this is his last chance, because I think that if he can't succeed in this attacking, press high style that Ollie's going to be bringing, then I personally believe that his time at Manchester United will run short.
And I think this will suit him though. You see how much he runs around the pitch under Jose. I think this will suit him really well. He just needs to get the hell out of the way of Pogba. That's all he has to do.
Yeah. Ultimately, allowing players you don't necessarily need to stick to a position. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you need to stick to a position, because all of our probably favorite goal of the season so far, the Anthony Martial goal, he came back to midfield and picked that ball up in the middle of the pitch despite playing on the left wing, and managed to not only break through the defense all the way through the middle, but then you had all of the quick 1-2 touch passing that in the triangle there that just bam, 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 goal. It was
silky smooth.
I do think that Alexis Sanchez is on his last legs at Manchester United. If he cannot succeed in this Ole Gunnar Solskjaer system, then he will be gone, and I'm willing to put a guarantee on that, because you cannot be paying a guy £400,000 a week to let him basically and essentially be stealing a living for Manchester United. And there are already too many players that have done that during their time at Manchester United. We can't continue to allow that to happen. So let's go on to another question. This is a quick one. So would you take Chicharito back at Manchester United?
Yeah, I would. I've always liked Chicharito, to be fair. You know, you could always count on him to be in the right place, even if the ball just landed on his face and went in the back of the net. Or that one where he kicked the ball towards the net, hit him in the face, and it went in the back of the net. So, you know, he didn't care how it went in. That guy could have got it off the laces of his boots. It wouldn't have mattered.
Well, I mean, for me, this is going into the same thing of my belief that I think that we're at the stage at Manchester United that we shouldn't be bringing back players that ultimately are kind of getting on in their years. And I honestly think that Chicharito is personally not that far away from potentially making that next move to like maybe the MLS or something like that. That's just me personally, because
I think I think it's more true. To be fair, I'm just saying that it'd be nice for him to just be on the bench, be one of those like an Ashley Young or a Valencia, you know, someone you can call to in the like if something goes wrong, or you know, he knows the fabric of the club, he knows where to be in the box and where it's to be expected. Because I see good things for Diogo Dalot, sorry, and him with his crosses and stuff. As soon as he starts getting them in, actually, while we got on the idea of Dalot, who says that we don't get a new right back and just push him up to right wing? Because honestly, right, when I was at the game yesterday, he was really good being down the right wing for that attacking sense. But then I noticed a good few times he had allowed the defender to get the goal side of him, which is the wrong side of him, which is something that a winger would do. You know, he's not a disciplined left back, or that's why he's called a left wing back, because he's a left winger that obviously couldn't get on a squad that was probably really thick with obviously wingers at the time. So the best way he could get into that squad was by dropping back into the defence and being able to maybe get some of the game up there, like he's doing at United. But I think you could possibly use him that way.
I mean, and listen, that there's potential for him to be playing as more of a right winger, but I mean, personally, for me, I look at the likes of Chicharito and what he did at Manchester United. Don't get me wrong; he had a very fun and exuberant Manchester United career, but I think that it's time to move on from players like that. And again, if we're looking for somebody to come in and be a backup striker, you know, I think that looking at somebody that you know, maybe like I mean, Chicharito wouldn't be the like the worst choice in the world. But
Well, when we're being linked with Arnautovic, I think I'd rather have Chicharito than Arnautovic.
that's fair because I mean, Chicharito does already understand the club.
Exactly. That's what I mean. That's the only reason I was thinking of it, because we have been linked with other sort of players in a similar age range, similar quality range. We're going to be sat on the bench range sort of players, but then why not just go for one that knows the club? You don't have to pay him a large sum of money. We wouldn't even actually probably care. We'd just be happy to put the badge back on and then show the players what pride actually means to be in that.
Yeah, and that's fair. But I mean, let's just say that if he was bought back, you know, I think that like again, this is something that would be he'd be bought back under the next manager, and ultimately, I think these next few months are going to be very very interesting in seeing who's going to be sold, who's going to be kept. I mean, is Lukaku still going to be here going into the summer? What's going to be in existence, you know, for Manchester United? What are we going to see? Who is going to be here? It's just really really interesting. And at the end of the day, we won't know until until we have a permanent manager. But let's go ahead. Let's go on to another question. So I actually really like this one because it's a nice short one. So if Greenwood starts against Reading, do you think he scores in his debut?
A brace.
You think he gets a brace in his debut?
It's not a hat trick. That kid's absolutely electric. He's going to do some magic. He's that type of. He reminds me of Rooney in his youth. Give me the ball, straight at you, not caring, and just letting off. Like he can finesse it, he can power it, he can chip you, he can. He's just awesome. Like we've watched him on the under 23s, under 18s, and Alex has always said, if you're good enough, you're old enough. And Ollie said the same thing. If you're good enough, you're old enough. Granted, obviously, he's not just going to go, here's the new class of 92. He's not going to throw like 5 or 6 youth players into our squad and get rid of half of our squad, like obviously Sir Alex did. Like got rid of Ince, got rid of, you know, Hughes and all these players to bring in Beckham and all them. Like, obviously, everyone thought he was crazy. That's why he went, you never win anything with kids. What happened? And Ollie could be Alex 2.0 if we give him the patience. Because obviously, we know we're Man United fans and we know what we deserve, but then we didn't deserve the managers that we got. We deserve Ollie. Ollie deserves us. He deserved a chance.
I mean, listen. In fairness, I mean, like you just said, we are Manchester United. If you're good, if you're good enough, you're old enough. It's been said multiple times by multiple managers. I mean, it goes all the way back to the Sir Matt Busby days. And honestly, I see Mason Greenwood as the potential to be England's next great striker. He's got that kind of potential. Now, it's a matter of if he lives up to that potential. And I think that he can if he is nurtured and groomed properly during his time at Manchester United. And I really hope that he is nurtured and groomed well during his time at Manchester United, because I like the fact that he is just United through and through, and he's got that skill level, guys. So I think that if he comes on and he starts for Manchester United in that Reading game, I will say that he will score a goal if he starts. I will call that now. I think that he gets a goal if he starts. So real quick, what positions would you prioritize in January? That comes from United Fan Focus, which, by the way, I noticed that you're new here, United Fan Focus. Good to see you. Hope you can join in more with us. So what position would you prioritize in January? Or position or positions?
I'd say that I don't think we need to spend, to be fair. I think if we sold well, not even well, we sold a couple of our players and we did produce some youth players into not the starting 11, but into the sub bench and use a bit more than what we've got. Like what I say Ollie's doing right now. You know, he's brought Angel Gomez on, you know, which was nice to see. So I probably, if we were going to go and buy a position, maybe a right winger. But then again, we've got Sanchez that we could probably play there when he gets off his injury. So it's difficult to say because under Mourinho, we knew what we needed because we were so rubbish and so shit that we actually thought, you know what? We need this, we need that, we need this, we need that. We need a full new team. We need a new Pogba. We need a new De Gea. We need a new, and that's the mentality that we got given. And now we've changed that mentality because of just a positive Ollie. The fact that he had bright eyes, beaming about being in the job. Like he was like a kid in a candy store.
He really was. He really was.
Golden ticket style.
So just to answer the question real quick, and so we can get into some more questions here. For me, the positions I would prioritize in January, I would literally only prioritize one position, and it's because I believe that it's something that could be prioritized basically at any point in time, and that would be a younger center back. So that way, I mean, this is just me personally. Phil Jones has been playing well, but I think it's time to move on from Phil Jones and let somebody else be starting, whether that's going to be Eric Bailly that would be starting, whether that's going to be if we bring in somebody new like Koulibaly or, you know, Mathis de Ligt, whoever it's going to be. I think it's time to move on from Phil Jones because I think we can all agree that anytime we see Phil Jones out there, you get nervous. You just get nervous.
Just a tiny little bit.
But in January, I would say that's the only position I would prioritize personally. But let's go ahead. So real quick, we did get the question of what do you think that Zidane could still potentially be on the books from Louis Devalos. Devalos. I'm sorry if I'm saying your name wrong. I apologize. But what do you think Zidane is still a possibility?
Anyone's a possibility. We're Manchester United, and we're not. We know what we want. It's just that we've had, obviously, don't get me wrong. I think the Glazers have had every intent to get the right manager for us. I'm not turning around saying that the Glazers are idiots and they never got the right manager. Obviously, they got two of the most highly decorated managers in existence, you know, to come and manage for us. I think Zidane, yeah, he could. But I always say that I'd rather see Ollie do better. I'd rather see Ollie do well and stay on because he knows the club. He knows the DNA. Like we say that we want it to carry on into Ferguson's image. Then the best person to do that, yeah, I think is Ollie because he's known nothing but the way of Sir Alex. Like he tries to play the same way of football in Molde, but he's not a bad one. You know, if he went and they didn't want him, would you complain if you got Poch or Zidane? And if you got Zidane in, I would have thought because he's out of a job, you would have got him in straight away. That's why I thought personally that United were more leaning towards Pochettino, just because we're not doing anything until the summer.
And I ultimately agree. Ultimately, for me, and I've said this multiple times, Zidane has always been my third choice guy. And if we wanted Zidane, we could have had him. But I have questions about whether he would do things the right way at Manchester United. And
he gets the best out of the players.
I think he'd get the best out of the players. But
if not, he'd butt them. Boom.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But ultimately, my thing is like I don't know what you've got in Zidane. I don't know if he's going to be the manager that he was during his time at Real Madrid, or are we going to get somebody totally different because he doesn't have the world-class squad that included Cristiano Ronaldo in that with him. Like I don't know. So I would tend to lean
Luka Modric behind him as well. There's a good few players that he had there.
Funny enough, for me, I would say keep Ollie before bringing in Zinedine Zidane. That's me personally, because I would prefer to keep a guy that understands the club and that we know what he's going to be trying to put forward and give him time than to bring in Zidane. Now, obviously, for me, Pochettino is still at the moment number one. Pochettino is still number one for me, but we'll see. We'll see how Ollie does for the rest of the year. So I actually really like this question from Douglas James Horn. He asked, if you could bring back any of Fergie's signings to play in the current Manchester United team, who would you bring back and why?
Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Who else would we bring back? Obviously, I'd say we need the biggest thing we actually miss is a leader, to be honest with you. If we had a leader on the pitch, we would have half the battle already won. Because if we had that Roy Keane, if we had that Vieira sort of style of like, listen, you are wearing this with pride. If you're not wearing this pride, get off the pitch. You know, get out of my changing room. You know, half of the players, half of the managers didn't usually even give their halftime team talk because the captain was already laying into the squad.
Sorry, I'm just now catching back up with the live comments because we had to go back pretty far, guys. I'm sorry about that. So, for me personally, I do like Ollie being the guy to come back. I think that would be pretty fun if we could get like modern, like old school Ole Gunnar Solskjaer back as
Why not give him as a player manager? Give him as a player manager. I think give him 10. You have to give him 5 minutes. I think give him 5 minutes. Last 2 minutes. Ollie, do your shit.
So for me, this is just me personally. I think that what this team needs at the current moment is Paul Scholes. I think that now that might surprise you guys because I have said before that Roy Keane for me ranks above Paul Scholes. But I think what this team needs at the current moment is a Paul Scholes. I think they need somebody that did what Paul Scholes does.
Definitely.
And I think that Paul Scholes, if he came back into this midfield with Paul Pogba, with Ander Herrera, with Nemanja Matic, with who we've got out there right now, I think Paul Scholes would absolutely annihilate the competition. Just me personally. So now, let me ask you guys that. If you could bring back any of the signings that we currently that he made, who would you personally bring back? I'm seeing Giggsy, which Giggsy wasn't a signing in fairness. But I've seen Ronaldo. I think Ronaldo. We're seeing another Ronaldo. I'm seeing a lot of Ronaldos. Ooh, I like that one. Ruud van Nistelrooy. That would be
Yeah, I'd like Nistelrooy. You're getting a dead eye striker. All he's thinking about is just blasting that past him. But we have that in Lukaku if we played him in the right way.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, but I think that Lukaku does not have the same skill set that Ruud van Nistelrooy has, though. Ruud van Nistelrooy was just another level of striker. Like his touch
And
control was just
in
absolutely
in
unbelievable.
Everton, he did. In Everton, he did. He seemed to just get in front, get in that box, and get those balls in the back of the net. And he was a clinical, but just younger. Like he was what third player to be scoring 50 goals in the Premier League by the age of 21 or something daft like that, or 23. I don't know what the age was, but that's it was behind someone and then Hazard or someone. I don't know who it was, but like that isn't an easy feat to do in the Premier League. But I feel like got such he had such a promise to him. Like you looked how Pogba was with him. Like he was a reason why we signed Lukaku. Like the Pogba Lukaku sort of partying in America, and then all of a sudden we got him signed, and then Pogba doesn't pass to him, and it looks like a relationship broke down, and he got upset and went to the gym. Pogba doesn't speak to me no more. I have to buff out.
So, I mean, listen, I did want to shout out this comment real quick from one of my favorite guys, George Kyle. He said, Housen said Lukaku had shades of original Ronaldo, but as you take a drink. So, honestly, we all can't be perfect. I mean, there isn't a lot of people that are a very big fan of Stephen Housen, but in fairness to Stephen Housen, we can't all get our comparisons right. So, I personally don't see these shades of original Ronaldo in Lukaku. That's just me. But it just
maybe the size.
I mean, maybe in size now, but that's
Yeah.
about it. But so, guys, just real quick. I mean, I wanted to say if you've got more questions, be sure to get them in. I'm letting the chat kind of scroll now. And then also, how are you guys liking the new studio? Because obviously we've got a completely new setup here. Camera's a little bit further away, and we've got nice desk now to be able to have. Got new artwork, got a whole bunch of new stuff. Obviously, we got Arthur down here. We got the one and only Arthur. So, I'm happy. Personally, I'm happy with the studio. At the end of the day, the truth is that is kind of all that matters, is if I like it. But I want to know if you guys like it as well. So I have to give you guys.
He's comfortable. Are you guys? That's all it is. As long as you're comfortable, we're okay with that. And if you're not, send it to our PO box at London, PO Box C20. Doesn't make a difference because we're not going to reply.
So real quick, I did want to say, so we got a few more people say Cantona is a signing.
Oh yeah.
Rio. I actually really like that one too. Prime Rio back.
Yap Stam. I like Yap Stam in his day. Yap Stam was an absolute wall.
King Eric, I like King Eric, obviously. Another Ruud van Nistelrooy. I personally, I think that anybody the part of our club legends would be absolutely fantastic to bring back at any point in time. If we could get prime Eric Cantona back, I would do it in a heartbeat. If we could get prime Paul Scholes back, I'd do it in a heartbeat. Same with Roy Keane. Same with any of our legends. Prime Ronaldo. Just go down the list, guys. Go down the list. Prime Wayne Rooney, whoever it is.
It's cheaper just to get a time machine.
Just might as well just get. You know what? I like it. Who's in on investing in the time machine? Who's in? I have to know.
I am. Me. I've got about £6 in my pocket.
So let's go ahead. Let's see if we got any more questions. Actually, I like this one from Jack Vlogs. He said, "Who would you swap in our club for someone in another club in the top 6, and why?"
I would swap Phil Jones, and I would take. There's a few that I'd like to take. Harry Kane.
You know what? I like the thought of bringing Harry Kane into Manchester United. I really do.
You know he'd be in the right positions, and you know he can touch the ball where he needs to do it, and he's got a footballing brain, and he's not going to put 70,000 pounds of muscle on.
I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that at the moment, I'd be interested in seeing how Marcus Rashford's going to do at striker.
Oh, he's got more opportunities when he's being younger.
Yeah, and also you add in the fact that we still do have Mason Greenwood down there, down in the youth setup. I'd be interested to see how Mason Greenwood's going to do, and obviously Mason Greenwood, if he could come through and succeed at Manchester United, that would just be the absolute dream. So, I mean, you know what? If I could swap one person right now with any team, it'd be N'Golo Kante. I think N'Golo Kante right now for Chelsea, come here, put him into that CDM spot, and let him just do what he does behind Pogba and another midfielder. And holy crap, let me tell you what, you talk about freeing up an offensive system or an attacking system. You are just it would allow Pogba and whoever else is going to be in front of him to just get forward all the time because Conte will cover all the ground and he'll never get tired. That little guy never gets tired. So that's who I would bring in right now. So let's see here. Got any more questions, guys? No, Ryan, I like it. See, Ryan said bring back Duncan Edwards while we're at it too. I love it.
Love it. No, I love it. That.
Let's see here.
That's respect. That's respect.
So right now, I'm not seeing any more questions from you guys.
Saying that though, you could easily just say Charlton best in law. They haven't got the Holy Trinity statue there for nothing.
Very true. So actually, we do have another question. I apologize. I had to scroll up a little bit for Dan Jones's question. He said, "Who are your top 3 signings for next season that you would want to bring in?" And he did say studio is beautiful. Thank you, Dan. Much appreciated. So, Mr. Exclusive, to you first. Who would be your top 3 signings that you would like to see brought in to Manchester United next season?
That's Santos. That's Santos from Sanchez, what he's called, from Borussia Dortmund. The one that played for City, the one that's banging it now. Take him. Mbappe and Kante.
So look, I would love to see Kylian Mbappe brought into Manchester United. I just don't know if it's even going to be possible. We did talk about
that. If the Saudis can do it and put the money out there that PSG do not make, why can't we do that when we clearly make that money? Obviously, it goes into the Glazers' pocket, but that hit that they take of 300-400 million for that player, they would earn back in about 3 days' time with the marketability of him and Pogba and Martial and Kante in the squad. It'd just be ridiculous. You got Ed Woodward, you'd just be seeing pound signs and dollar signs rolling in each eye like cha-ching.
I mean, that's fair. So, obviously, you guys know the number 1 signing for me, the homie, Christian Pulisic. Bring him in, play him at the 10. Let's play a 4-2-3-1, and let's see how that works. Bring in Pulisic to play the 10, and I guarantee you he will unlock everything from that number 10 position. That's my number 1 signing. Number 2 signing, and I believe that it's actually possible because I've heard that Sarri is currently not getting along with him very well, is N'Golo Kante. I believe we could bring in N'Golo Kante to play at that CDM position, and he would allow everything to be freed up going forward from that position. I think that would be absolutely fantastic to see as well. And I think that you could get him for decent money, not have to pay a crazy amount. I think you'd probably wind up paying somewhere between 65 and 80 million, and for a player of his age and what he does, I think that's an absolute steal. And then lastly, I want to see Mathis de Ligt brought in to play as center back for Manchester United. It kind of screams of everything that is and should be what Manchester United should represent. A center back that he knows what he's doing at that position already at the very ripe young age of, I think he's still 19, if I remember correctly. I don't think he's even turned 20 yet. I mean, you're talking about a kid that knows how to play the position. I would love to see it happen. And let me tell you what, talk about a dangerous guy to have in your team at that size and that age, could potentially play for you for the next at least 10 years and be top quality. Do it all day long. All day long.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll read a few of these out for some people. George Kyle said Icardi, Koulibaly, and Verratti. You know what? I like that.
Nice. No, that's nice selection of three.
A lot of people are saying Jadon Sancho as well. Koulibaly, Sanchez, and Kane. And from Raise a Sunday, he said, "I'm dreaming."
No, I think United make that much money that they could easily bring those players in. It's just that they play the respect game. Like, they don't use their power of how much money they make on the pitch. Like, they don't do that. Maybe because it's the way that we look into the youth squad. That might be it. I don't know.
Let's see here. So I see Koulibaly, Conte, and Neymar. Jesus. Listen, no offense, Saban. For me personally, I don't want to see Neymar come to Manchester United. I mean, we've already got Paul Pogba, who you could make the argument is a big personality, a very big personality. I think that you mix Neymar and Pogba in the same team, I think you might have personality overload, which can
the money that you spend on him as well.
Yeah,
you might as well get Mbappe.
But and listen, I'm not saying that you're wrong in wanting to bring him in. He's obviously a top class talent. I think about personality clashing, and that would worry me about a personality clash.
I say he's still a good choice of three, definitely, but I wouldn't get Neymar in for that reason as well.
George, get out of here with Griezmann. Stop it. Stop it.
Oh, could you imagine Mark's face if Griezmann came in and he started doing his L dance?
Ryan went with Koulibaly, Conte, and Pulisic. I like that one too. So let's, I saw another question up here. I got to find it real quick though. It was from Myron. He asked, if De Gea does leave, who should United replace him with? Which I know we've gotten this question before, but I still love answering it. So who would you replace David De Gea with if he was to, let's say, obviously Thibaut Courtois not succeeding at Real Madrid. They bring in De Gea. Who are you replacing him with?
De Gea. No, that's a stab to my heart. Like, I being at the game yesterday when he let that goal in, his frustration after that goal was ridiculous. Obviously, I was right pretty much. I could have spat on the guy that close to him, and you just saw it. You could just probably feel that. You probably feel. Oh, am I still on the call? Am I still here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Yeah, no. So I got a phone call, so I tried swiping it away, and I didn't know whether I answered it or not. So I was, complications, live TV, But so what was I up to? Can't remember. You can carry on anyway.
Well, so I was going to say, and I ultimately agree with George Kyle here. I think that the only one that is realistic and also would make sense would be Gianluigi Donnarumma. I think that he's the only one
keeper.
Young, he's obviously got top class talent as a goalkeeper, and it would make sense to bring in somebody that would be young. It'd be almost like when we brought in De Gea during his time. Like, it wouldn't make sense.
There isn't much of other options out there to, like, people were uttering Jordan Pickford, and then he goes and does, like, the two calamities that he's done. It's like, no thanks, rather not have you in our net. If we're going to do that, we'll just stick Lee Grant in, really. Actually, saying that, though, we've got Joe Pereira on loan, remember? So he's meant to be this next big thing. So,
well, ultimately, I do agree with you that if we don't have to get rid of David De Gea, for the love of God, don't. Like, He is
You
best.
upset me with that question. Yeah, you upset me with that question. Like I got emotional for a second. Like the actual, like saying goodbye to your uncle or something, like saying goodbye to David De Gea.
So we've got one of the best questions that could possibly be asked, but it's also probably one of the most difficult. Wesker for Life asks, is David De Gea better than Peter Schmeichel?
Yes, he didn't play for Man City.
Ooh, throwing out shade out there.
No, seriously, I loved Peter Schmeichel to the moment he played for City. As soon as he put that City badge on, done in my expectations. Like, I appreciate what he did for us. I appreciate the titles he won for us, for the quality that he caused. But you went to a direct rival. You went to the enemy. You know, it doesn't even matter if you've gone to a different club in between or you retired and come back. It doesn't matter. Like, you don't come back to our rivals. The only worst one you could have gone to is Liverpool.
All right, I'm getting a tweet out there because I think we're gonna be live for a little bit more here, so I want to make sure
no worries.
They'll come and join in on the stream if they wanted to. So let's see here, back, and so listen, I've said it before, and like I did see Jay Hart say might be an unpopular opinion, but I prefer Van der Sar to De Gea, and because Van der Sar had better leadership. So this is just me personally. I think that David De Gea is the best goalkeeper that Manchester United have ever had now. I think that what he has done during his time, and especially during a time that we have not had the best of center back partnerships, like, let's be real about it. For the most part, De Gea has had Chris Smalling and Phil Jones as center backs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking about you go back to the Schmeichel days. I mean, yeah, Jaap Stam. That, like, let's be like, Jaap Stam is an absolute legend.
Yeah, Stam. I'm sorry, I love that tune.
So for me, De Gea is the best keeper that we have ever had because he has done
100%.
more with less. That might be controversial to some, but he has done more with less during his time at Manchester United and has still managed to be able to, like, I mean, you think back to that Arsenal game last year, guys. For the love of God, I can't think of another goalkeeper in the world that could do what he did against Arsenal. Genuinely, I can't. I mean, you're talking about save after save after save, double save, double save. I mean, like, that man could not be beat. I'll take De Gea over any keeper that we have ever had in our history. Put him into any team that we've ever had, and I guarantee you that he still does the same things. Guarantee it.
I think if you put David De Gea back in Schmeichel's he wouldn't have left when Schmeichel did, and he'd have stayed longer and been more successful.
Yeah, I mean, you might be right. Which, by the way, AFF, Arthur's right here. Arthur's right here. Do you not see him? He's always right here now. He's always in the streams. So Vandy Candy said maybe De Gea is a product of facing too many shots. De Gea is good, but All Black has had some great CL performances too for Atletico Madrid in similar setup. I mean, that's a decent point, but at the same time, De Gea has not had the ability to be playing, for a team that has been as well defensively set up as Atletico Madrid has. I mean, and I get that All Black is a top level.
He's got Gotti in front of him.
Like, to me, this is just my opinion. All Black is kind of like, if you're saying De Gea is the top of the top level, All Black is going to be like right there. He's like right underneath De Gea. So that's just my personal opinion.
Plus, you've got Gotti in front of All Black as well.
Talking of Arsenal games, do we not remember Schmeichel saving Bergkamp's penalty? I mean,
yes, I'm not doubting anything that he's done for us. I appreciate everything he's done for us, but don't you remember him being in a Man City badge, stopping the boys in blues? Okay. Oh nah, it frustrates me that. Like, would you appreciate Rooney if he went to City as much? I don't think you would.
That's true. That's true. So real quick, guys, I think that I'm going to go get Arthur. I've seen a couple people asking where Arthur's at. Arthur's first appearance in the new studio. You want to come say hi? You want to say hi? Come say hi to the peoples? Oh, geez. Careful, Bubs. Careful, careful. 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 Come here. You want to say hi? I know. As he gets the glasses all dirty. Thank you. He's a good boy. Are you happy about the new studio? Are you happy about the new studio? You've got your own poster now, Bubs. I know. You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, Bubs, go on. Go on. Go on. No. Go. There was the boy, guys. There was the boy. I'm sorry about that. Arthur knows it's Michael. I mean, honestly, guys, Arthur does have his own poster now. If you want an Arthur poster, hit up the one and only Matthew McFadden. He's in the chat right now. He can make you one. He can make you a legendary Arthur poster. And I can actually give you custom pictures of Arthur if you want a different picture than this one here. I've got loads of them. I probably have too many pictures of Arthur if we're being real about it. But Arthur knows it's Roy Carroll and Massimo to be.
I think I'd rather had I can't think what his name now. Yeah, I'd rather have Van der Gaal than Schmeichel. At least he didn't go to City.
I mean, in fairness, let's be real here. I mean, Schmeichel did help us win the treble. I'm always going to be forever grateful that he will always be just below De Gea for me. I love the man, but
he cleans De Gea's boots for him, man. Serious. Polish those up to a real good shine.
So we'll take two more questions. One of them is going to be this one. If Pochettino does become the manager, which by the way, this is from Wesker for Life. If Pochettino does become manager, do you think the board will back him 100%, or will they still penny pinch? To you first.
Penny pinch. It's the Glaziers. They'll penny pinch. They know how much Pochettino can run off. Obviously, they have to look at it. How about the players are getting expensive? Like, it's the director of football. You realise that bring in the talent, even though Pochettino might send a scout to wherever it is. It's the director of football that will bring in a person. Like, I was looking at a few of them, obviously, because of our situation, and it's just a difficult one. Like, obviously, Poch, he's a good manager, but I'm not 100% sure that like the Glazers could be trusted in giving him, say, an overhaul of, say, 350 million. Not including, I'm not saying he gets a full 350 million. I mean, like, say, 170 million plus some selling of players to get him up to that 350 mark, and then he does what he wants with that. Because he will bring in youth, he will bring in good quality of players. We're not going to doubt him on that. But it's the no winning. It's like, I'd rather, if you don't know what Ollie's going to do, he hasn't won anything in major honours for like in the Premier League, but he's won titles in Mould. He did a back-to-back in his first 2 seasons at Molde, doing the Sir Alex method.
Well, and listen, if Pochettino is brought in, it will likely be because we did not reach top 4, which means that we will probably, under Pochettino, go out and spend a lot of money. And I would honestly say you're probably going to be looking at the likes of Matteo Darmian be moved on. Phil Jones will be moved on. I mean, there is going to be a laundry list of players that will either have their contracts ran out and just be allowed to leave, or and then we'll have to buy new players, or we'll have to promote youth. So to me, if Pochettino is the one coming in, I have no doubt in my mind that the board will back him 100% in his first season, and they'll probably buy him 4, 5, maybe 6 players in his first season, depending on how many players are allowed to leave in the offseason during the summertime. And I honestly believe that, because I think at the end of the day, if we don't make top 6, Manchester United will do whatever they have to do to go out there and get back to being top 4. I honestly believe that we will do whatever we have to do to get back to Champions League football. So, and then we could ask this question real quick. So Nick Archer asked, will we get a director of football?
Yes.
And I 100% believe that too.
Yeah. We have to. If we leave it in the Glazers and Ed Woodward to do, we're going to get Mickey Mouse in to do our business in the football market, and we don't need that. Like, we've got a good. People were saying Paul Mitchell and a few others that were mentioned, and there's literally like maybe 10 different candidates that could come in and take Man United. I can't remember one of the names, but he bought 5 players for less than $1 million and sold them. Actually, one of them was Anthony Martial. Come to think about it, it was from Monaco. When the Monaco sporting director of football, he bought in Martial and a few other players, not for more than $1 million, and sold the group collection for like 200 million.
So I agree with Mr. Exclusive. I think that we are getting a director of football. It will be interesting to see who will be that director of football. And I mean, we've all heard that Peter Schmeichel has said he wants to throw his name in the ring. I know for a fact that we've seen
get uppercut and knocked back out of the ring.
I think that there's a lot of good options out there. I know that Paul Mitchell, like you said, has been mentioned. Ultimately, I think that whoever the next manager is will probably also have a say in who the director of football will be. So, I mean, if it is Pochettino that we're looking to bring in, and we are looking to bring in director of football before he gets here, I honestly believe that we will probably see whoever Pochettino wants brought in to be the director of football, because he's going to want to work with somebody that he trusts. So, guys, we'll go ahead and we'll wrap it up there. So, we're a little over an hour and 10 minutes in. So I think this is an appropriate time to wrap it up. We've been talking for a good while.
Time flies when you're having fun.
I know, right? But guys, be sure to drop a like on the video for the new studio, if anything else. I'm really excited to be bringing you guys the new studio. We've got new equipment, obviously got a lot of new equipment, got new lighting, new camera, new mic. We've got a desk now. We've got a ton of stuff that we've added to this. And honestly, we're going to continue to bring you top quality content nonstop. I'm going to be doing my best to bring in new guests and do everything we can to make this an entertaining platform for everybody across all different sports that I will be talking about. So, guys, Mr. Exclusive, thank you for joining me, sir. And you guys already know, description, get him on Twitter. Make sure to subscribe to his YouTube. I mean, Mr. Exclusive, is there anything you want to shout out, my friend?
Just want to obviously say thanks for giving me the opportunity to come on the show. Always a pleasure. It's a great chance. Just hit my Twitter up. I appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, my friend. No problem. And guys, I'm honestly so excited that we actually have positivity back at Manchester United. We're actually having fun talking about, instead of being negative about what's going on, we're actually being positive, having fun, being like, we were talking about great players that we want to bring back, talking about the things that we want to see happen, and nothing but positivity now, guys. We've got nothing but positivity going on, and I can't wait to see where these Manchester United games and streams are going to continue going. We're going to obviously be doing everything we can to bring you guys as much content as possible. With my new job, I don't know how often I'm going to be able to be exactly in this studio. I will be traveling a lot with the new job, but I can almost guarantee that every weekend I will be here for streams from the studio. But guys, just genuinely, I'm so blessed to have so many people that just join in on these all the time. And the fact that I've got people that care enough to come in and join in on the chats. And I'm just a blessed man. I truly am. I'm blessed to have family that support me in what I'm doing. I'm blessed to have friends that come on and help me with my channel and that just love me enough to give me feedback on the streams. And guys, if you ever have recommendations, be sure to drop me an email. You can find my email inside of my about on my channel. So be sure to email me if you've got any suggestions. But guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you have a great night, a great day, wherever you're at and whatever you're doing. I hope that you keep doing you because you guys are awesome. I love you guys.